Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. So we're going to go ahead and jump right on into the reading for this week. Now, this is going to be a first part one. And then I'm going to do a part two that will be specifically for families. But this one is just going to be for general, for anyone who resonates with this reading. Okay, now the first row of cards that were pulled, you have a Two of Hearts, then you have a Three of Diamond with the Nine of Spade, and then you have a Six of Hearts. Okay, so the first row is basically the cards that I pulled to show me the energies that are going to be present this week. And then the bottom row are just giving some more explanation, some clarity to the cards that I pulled. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with the beginning of this week. And we are starting the beginning of this week off with a Two of Hearts. So that is really, really beautiful energy. Let me just say that. Now, this card can talk about soulmates and talk about marriage, relationships, that kind of thing, especially those more close, more intimate relationships, those one-on-one relationships. But I'm also picking up a lot of attraction energy in this as well. And so it feels like this is not just tied to this being about people or a person, but more so the energy of things that are in divine alignment, things that are in alignment with that soulmate kind of frequency, right? So just meaning that they are aligned with your soul. It feels like this Two of Hearts energy is going to be bringing in some new opportunities. This also feels like it's going to be bringing in some more financial opportunities as well, or some of the conversation that's going to take place going further into this week will have to do with some money that is coming in, whether it be unexpected or you just have not completely decided what you're going to do with the money that you're being blessed with. But this energy is very abundant. You get the abundance card with this Two of Hearts. And what I'm really feeling is that this energy is flowing in from the previous week. The previous week we're working with fortifying our mind and our emotions and really digging into mature, right? That prince, from that prince state to that king state, allowing yourself to really come full circle. And so now, as we come out of that space with this big energy, these epic wins, we're coming into a space where things would just fall in line. Things will just begin to fall into place. Clarity will come. The needed resources will come. The needed connections will come, but all of the ways that relationships can show up, whether it be with a person or a thing or an energy, the ways are open for those connections to be made, for those relationships to begin to take form, strengthen, or shift. Okay, so that's the beginning of the week. That's Sunday energy, Monday energy, Tuesday energy. Now we're going to get into the middle of the week. And we have a Three Diamonds and a Nine of Spades. First of all, with this card, the very first thing that comes up is that this is going to be about transformation, but this does not feel like this is about, the typical death and rebirth kind of energy. It has a lot of magic in this energy. And so when I think about the three, I think about magic. And when I think about music, I think about magic too. So what we're doing is we are having the opportunity to really define and redefine what it is that we've asked for, what it is that we say is important to us, because we are getting ready to and are experiencing major transformation. Things begin to take form on a physical space. So whether that is something manifesting because it is coming in, or whether the manifestation is that something is leaving, right? So that it can make room for a healthier state of being, for healthier manifestations, whatever it is that is making room for, right? But you have this energy of transformation. You have this energy of like a magical happening, right? So really think about towards the middle of this week, Wednesday, Thursday, that kind of time. Really begin to take stock of what it is that what it is that you are recognizing, right? When you're outside, what kind of things do you experience that really cause you to just experience some of those simpler joys, right? They just really kind of bring you present to just happy and joyful feelings. Because it feels like those are going to be also some of those things that clue you in into how you kind of move through this. Because I feel like some of you are going to be going through a little bit of a rocky transition. You know, you might kind of be like, oh, I'm not sure. Okay. You know, you're trying to get your bearing, trying to get your footing. But I feel like you're going to know the right opportunities. You're going to know the right things to do. One, because they're going to come to you, right? You're not going to have to go and make them happen. They're going to naturally come to you. But in addition to them naturally happening or naturally coming to you, they're also going to give you this sense of like just poof. Out of nowhere, here is the solution, right? This magicalness where you just happen to meet this person or whatever, or you hear something that gives you the answer that you need or the confirmation that you need. So I'm really just picking up on a lot of transformation, the ability to really go into this energy with excited, creative energy, really go into it ready to transform and really being open to what that transformation looks like. Now, the shadow of that is that you could go into the space really, really worried and concerned about money, about how you're going to get the resources that you need, about what happens after this transition takes place, or is a transition going to take place, or, you know, you could turn into a whole worry word, worry word. By the end or by by the middle of this week, if you're not allowing yourself to really be on the higher end of those energies. And so if you do happen to find yourself feeling a little worried, feeling a little stressed out and concerned about what is taking place and what's not taking place, then I would say, one, let's use this music card for instance, and turn on some music. Allow yourself to get to dancing. Do something that allows your body to move so that it can get into a rhythm and into a flow. And you can channel all of that nervous energy right on out. And what you'll do is that you find is that as you're channeling this energy through and it's flowing properly, the transitions that you end up making are not those scary transitions you may have thought that they were previously. And things actually begin to work with you and not against you. Okay, so that's another thing. This week, you'll know whether or not you're in alignment with the flow of the week and of your energy and of the manifestations that are taking place, because you're not going to have to fight. This week does not feel like you're going to have to do a whole lot of pushing and pulling to make something happen. And so if you're finding that you're having to do that, it's time to let go. It's time to change the way that you're going about trying to do what you're doing. Okay, because it feels like the more that you try to push and pull, the harder and harder and harder it's going to get, the more resistance you're going to come upon. All right, so now the end of the week, we are ending it with the Six of Hearts and the Harmony card. So again, we started with some really beautiful energy. We went into some really transformative energy, some energy that's going to take your intention and your focus to make sure that you're not getting into that shadow worry side of that energy, but really beautiful opportunity to transform and to create the finances, the career, the physical things, the day-to-day life kind of changes. You're going to have the opportunity to do things that allow for those changes. Okay. Now, the Six of Hearts and the Harmony card. So as we come to a close, again, this energy is really interesting because really this energy for a while has really been very karmic, right? And I would assume, based off of the energies that I've picked up on, looking into the coming days and months and whatnot, that's going to be an energy that sticks around. So be mindful of that, right? So be mindful of the energy that you're putting in, because that is what you will get back. Now, the Six of Hearts is, around relationships. It is around those kind of connections. It can represent marriage as well. It can represent flow, right? Very harmonious flow. You have this harmony card here to go along with that. And it's interesting because we started the week with the Two of Hearts, right? And it's talking about those connections, it's talking about that marriage, but it feels like it is sometimes, it can be kind of like that. The beginning stages, right? It's the meeting of those two things. It's those two things, or two people coming together for the first time. But it's got that kind of newness on that energy. Almost very similar to the Ace of Hearts, but not as like brand baby new as that, right? But it's still new. It hasn't gone along the journey in the relationship. Right? And then the Six of Hearts, you're kind of along your path. Right now, you have a clear passage. You can go straight through the middle of those hearts, right? There's a straight passage if you allow it to be, because the Six of Hearts, again, is that give and take. So if what you're giving, right, does not also then give back freedom and ease, going back to that that Three of Diamonds and a Nine of Spades, release, shift, right? Those are things that's needed, because by the time you get through, things should be coming to you and manifesting for you. Clarity should be coming to you like butter, right? So that's how you're going to know that you are on target, that you are on your path. And you'll know exactly what you need to do to shift, because even if it takes a little moment to sit down and get quiet to feel like, okay, what kind of shift do I need to make? You know that there's a shift, or you need to let something go. If it's not healthy for you, if it's not giving you and uplifting you in ways that it needs to, then you know that you need to let it go. If it is something that is more about your perspective, right? If it's more about the space that you've kind of locked it into, then then it's just a shift of energy, shift of perspective, that kind of thing. But you're gonna know how it is that you need to move through this week based on the way that the energies are coming, because everything should be coming to you at this point, right? And not to say that you're not going to have work that you still do, but the things that are manifesting at this point is they're coming from the work that you've already done. So everything that's manifesting right now is a product of the energies that you've already put out and put forward to come back to you. Right? So if you know that you have done an amazing job, you've done your thing, you've done your work on yourself, congratulate yourself. It's time to take, your bow. It's time to get some drinks and celebrate, whatever. If you know that you have put in some work, but you need to put in some work, use this week to put in that work so you can shift those energies around. And by the time we get towards the end of this week, you've really stepped into a transformative energy in terms of what it is that you're receiving and what it is that's happening and going. So expect to meet some new people. New relationships, new connections, especially things that allow you to take the next step in your career, and in the area of finances, period. So if you're purchasing a new home, if you are if you are in the midst of a relationship and you're feeling like, maybe there's some conversations that need to take place, or maybe there's a next step that you're ready to move to, just expect for some clearing to take place that allows for those things to manifest. Also, you all could also be experiencing having old energies coming in. So whether this is exes, old friends, maybe old situations, or situations that you thought were really going to be great opportunities that are not or that did not turn out to be the kind of opportunities that you would have wanted. So just make sure that this week you are clear on what it is that your intentions are, what it is that you want to do. Make the connections. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there if given the opportunity. Move in alignment with yourself. But don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to make some of those decisions to say, okay, I've been moving like this and I see this coming, but I'm needing to see more of this over here. So let me change this, right? This is that time to go ahead and do that work. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close it down now. My little baby is, she's having a fit. But that was the end of everything I want to share for the general reading for this week. I would love to hear, like I say every week, what it is that you all experience, how these energies manifest for you. Put them in the comments. You all can email them to me. I would love to get that information, and we kind of talk about what's been going on. My contact information is in the description below, so you'll be able to get that. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. Okay? Thank you. We'll talk again next week. Bye.